Today we'll be talking about why short-term thinking breaks otherwise good businesses. And sometimes people don't realize you actually have a great thing going, but your short-term thinking is what holds you back and results in you actually destroying the great thing you have built. So you need to be very mindful of that. And the purpose of this lesson is to help you become mindful of it and to give you a bit of a structure when it comes to thinking and how to operate in your life and in your business. The core idea of this lesson is that most business decisions fail not because the strategy is wrong, but because the time frame is too short. When people judge long-term systems using short-term results, everything looks broken. If you make all your decisions based on micro outcomes, like what happened today, what happened tomorrow, you have a bad business. Because the thing is, as you'll see, I'll break down the numbers for you in a moment. But I know people, they launched their offers. In fact, a client messaged me over the weekend. He launched his offer. Imagine this. He was getting no sales for a very long time. We reworked his funnel. We reworked his entire offer. And he went live again with new ads, with our new ads process. And just over the weekend, he processed 5 sales. And he even had a bump offer sale. Like his bump had never worked yet. And we reworked it and he got a bump offer sale. Everything's going great. And then Sunday came around. And on Sunday, he got no sales. And he was like, oh, I've got no sales today. Is it broken? What should I do? Should I decrease my ad spend? And that's where most people make wrong decisions and they ruin, what otherwise is a pretty good business. You got a good thing going and you're going to break it just because of one bad day, maybe even a bad week. The reason me and Dan have been so successful today, it's like you go around in the industry, you ask people, how long did their offers stay alive? How long are people running these businesses? Most people are churning every 6 months. Like they're launching an offer, they make some money and they have to go launch another one after 3 to 6 months. But in 3 years, almost in March, it'll be 3 years since we started one of our main offers. And in 3 years, our offer's still going strong. And the reason is because we've never turned the taps up. Like in 3 years, we've never turned our ads up. We've had very bad months. We've had months where in 3 years, we even had months where we made like $1,000 profit from a business that typically does $20,000, $30,000. And we've been in places like that. And even $1,000 profit for us is not profit because we pay our team. We've got so many other costs that it didn't make sense. We're actually losing money, but we never turn things off because we look at the averages over time. Whenever we've zoomed out and looked at the averages over time, it always makes sense. We're always in business. We're always profitable and we're actually always winning. And so the reason people are churning and people have to launch new offers and businesses all the time is because they're always looking at things at a daily level. They're just seeing they have one bad day, they have one bad week, heck, they have a bad month, and they say, it's game over. We need to change it up. And the thing is, we've had bad quarters. We've had literally bad 3 months in a row where things have just not gone great for us. And we still never turned it off. We still carry on trusting the process and doing what we need to do, launching more ads, sending out more emails, creating new products, sending out those products. Because we're building a business here. This is not like some alchemy machine. It's not trading. It's not gambling. Like we're building a real business. We have to put in value. We have to give our customers value. We have to establish relationships. And just as you know in life, I don't know how many of you are like married and stuff, or how many of you have like great friends that you can trust with things. These relationships take time to build. Okay. Many good relationships always take time to build. And so the same with your customers, to establish that relationship, to create that trust. It's not something that is formed overnight. And so these are things we need to understand. And that's why we need to expand our horizon. The lesson is about learning how to think in windows and not in moments. The real issue most people have is a short time horizon. Okay. That's the real issue where most people are stuck. Their time horizon is too short. So many people spend years in the same position financially. Just even in their life, when it comes to health and anything, you can spend years in that same position stuck. You've had no progress or very little progress. You've tried things that have not worked. Whether you've had good attempts, bad attempts, you've seen it through, you haven't seen it through. The years have gone by and you're still in the same position. But then you finally, one day you come around to maybe a program like this or anywhere, you pursued a business and you've gone and took that in life. And all of a sudden your expectations change. Now you expect results in days. You want that certainty immediately. You need to see the proof. You need to see that, oh, I am wildly profitable before you actually create any momentum for yourself. The thing about being in a program like this is that you don't need any more evidence. The evidence is here. We've shown you countless times our results. You've seen people come through the system alongside you, maybe join at the same time as you, and they've gotten results. You have even seen I shared a video the other day when the new year came around, and I recorded that video for you all. And in that, I showed you a business that we work inside that's done $500,000 in just December. So you don't need any more proof before you become consistent, before you consistently start showing up. You know that it's possible. And so this is where the real problem I find is with most people. They have gone about their whole lives and nothing changed. But in the moment they pursued something, and it's all of a sudden when it comes to starting a business, which we know starting a business and building something successful, it's obviously not easy. Shall we give you a clear path? We'll give you a clear process. And in my personal opinion, I consider it easier than going to work 40 hours a week and working overtime, applying for jobs and filling resumes, and you lose your job, then you have to find a new job. I think building a business, sitting at your desk, playing around with ChatGPT, designing some pages, creating some graphics with AI, in my personal opinion, that is easier than working that job. But everyone's opinion is different. But at the end of the day, what I think is that the expectations shouldn't change. The same way you had to spend years educating yourself, the same way you spend months looking for a good job, and you spend years trying to climb up that ladder, we should carry that similar expectation for running a business. Why do we then instantly think building a business, a successful and profitable business, should be any easier? And that mismatch is what creates unnecessary pressure, and it leads to premature decisions. Just like my client on Sunday saying, I've got no sales today. He's thinking to reduce his ad spend. He's almost thinking, I need to start another offer. That's where things go wrong. Clearly, if you've created something from scratch and you've started running ads to strangers and people are buying it, that means you're onto something great. Because it's not a small feat for you to create something from scratch, from thin air. It was non-existent. And you put it out into the world. You run ads, and you run these ads to strangers, people that don't know you, they don't know your name, they don't trust you, they've never heard of you before. They were scrolling social media and they bought your product. Like, just achieving that much, most people are not realizing how big of an achievement that alone is. And then you take that and you actually become profitable, and you do this consistently day in, day out. If you realize like how much of an achievement that is, like, you'll be shouting from rooftops. I mean, that's why we carry, like, we're proud when we talk about this, because we know what we've done. I grew up around it. Like, I started in 2013, and there were people that started at the same time as me, that were exposed to the same knowledge as me, that have been inside the same programs as me. But they're not running offers today. They're not able to sell to strangers today. They're not able to create ideas from thin air because there's so much in their heads. They made a few decisions. They launched a few businesses. And the moment things went wrong, things didn't go to plan. They didn't go as they expected based on their high expectations. They quit and they dropped off. And that's why they're not here today. That's why they're not here able to coach you and teach you on this stuff. But we just saw it through good days, bad days, feeling happy, feeling sad, losing money, making money, wherever it was. Like, we just keep pushing through, and there's reward on the other side. And so that's why I say here that business does not reward urgency, but it rewards patience combined with repetition. You can't just be hasty, and there's nothing you rush. You didn't rush your whole life when you spent 4 or 5 years going to university to get education, or whatever you call it, wherever you are in the world. And you spent months refining your resume and getting the job. Like, then there was no urgency. You had to be patient, and you had to do the repetition. I know some people I've spoken to, and they told me we applied for over 100 jobs. Like, that to me is wild. Apply for 100 jobs. It's a crazy thing. I know Dan knows. And so just like with anything in life, you want success in any domain, you have to put in the reps, and you have to be patient with the result. I remember at one point when a few years back, I lost 15 kg. I was like super overweight. I wasn't in a good place. And I was so urgent with it that I was going to the gym, right, in the morning. So I'll go to the gym first. And then later in the evening, I would go for 5-kilometer runs. And I'm doing it so aggressively. I lost track of everything else. I just went so all in that I ended up with back problems. I ended up with knee problems and all kinds of problems. I ended up getting ill because I was just overworking myself. I had bad sleep. I was in bad moods all the time. And sure, I saw the result eventually, because the result is written for you. It's going to come. That's fine. But it didn't come in the way I needed it. in the way I could have had it. And actually, what happened soon after that, I spiraled back. I actually ended up at one point putting all that weight back on, and I was not in a great position. So I now just sacrifice all this time, all this energy, put in all this effort, and then I've ended up back in the same position anyways. And so that's why operating from a place of urgency and hastiness and emotions is never safe in no domain. People are asking business, I don't know how long will it take to start making $10,000 a month? And it's like, how much are you willing to do? How much are you willing to sacrifice? How consistent are you willing to be? Now, most things in business, they're uneven. And this is one thing you need to accept, that sales do not come in evenly. Just because you spend $10 a day and today you make $30 does not mean tomorrow you spend $10 and you make $30 and that every day it'll be that, because you have to think about what's actually happening. You're running ads in the big bad wild world, right? Nobody's been like programmed that they have to buy when they see the ad, they have to buy it. This is real humans we're dealing with. Some days we're going to put these ads out and the people that see it may not be in a buying state. They may not resonate with it, but some days it will come in front of more of the right people and they'll be in a buying state and a lot of people will buy. So you don't have control over these things. Sales don't come in evenly. Ads don't convert evenly. Buyers do not show up on a schedule. Like I said, they're not programmed to buy from you. They're just normal people. They're going about their day, just scrolling social media. And sometimes they buy it. Sometimes a lot of them buy it. Sometimes they spend a lot of money with you. Sometimes in our funnels, we find like our upsell, okay, it might not be working. But some days of the week, 50% of people that come through the funnel buy the upsell. But legitimately, there's days of the week where 0% people that come through the funnel buy the upsell. It's just how it goes. And so that's why we can't look at the daily performance, because it'll always look random. A system only becomes clear when you observe it across 7, 14, 30 days, like these timelines. We always talk about this. If you look at Dan's training on media buying and reading the data, he talks about reading things on 7, 14, 30-day averages, because the daily numbers, they're noisy, they're a mess, they're confusing, they're misleading, but the averages reveal direction. We did a client's numbers yesterday. Let me see if we have it here. Performance report. Nope, it's not there. So we had a client yesterday. We sent him a performance report, and over the last 30 days, he was at 1.5 ROAS, but over the last 7 days, he was at 1.93 ROAS. And so he's actually like now almost doubling his money. But over the last 30 days, if he had made decisions based on his first week of performance, it must have looked like something like he's losing money or he's breaking even. Week 2, he starts to become profitable. Week 3, it's getting better. And so week 4, he's now doubling his money. He rode through the process. He consistently showed up for it. And we just launched more and more ads. We were testing more, and eventually we found some winners, and the pixel began to optimize, get in front of more of the right people, and kaboom. Now the offer is very profitable. And this is without even having a second bump offer, without even having a second upsell. He's not doing anything on the email sequences just yet. And imagine when those things start to come into play, and then the averages are going to start to look a lot better. So let's break it down with some numbers. Why looking at daily results is misleading. So let's say we're running ads for our low ticket product. Our average order value is $39. Day 1, we spend $20 and we get $0 back. Oh, we lost $20. Day 2, we spend $20, we get $0 back. Once again, we lost money. So now we're $40 in the hole. At day 3, we spend $20 and we actually get 2 sales and an average order value of $39 each, and we make $78. So over 3 days, we spent $60 now, but we actually made revenue on the 3rd day, $78. So guess what now? 2 days we were in a loss. Maybe we turned it off over here. We would have never known. We would have been upset. Things are not working. I need to go change my offer. I need to go restructure my life, go pursue another business. But day 3, had you just run it, you would have been profitable, right? $18 profit after day 3. This is constantly happening. We see this time and time again. Maybe there's some people on this call that have been running ads and selling their offers, and they have experienced this. So if you judge the system on day 1 or day 2, of course it will look broken, but viewed over an average, it's clearly working. And so the thing you need to keep in mind is that short windows distort reality. You'll never be able to tell, is it working today? I mean, you should look inside our business, right? Sometimes Dan knows, he's in charge of the ads. And some days we're losing $300-400 a day. And obviously we're not crazy. We don't have that much money to burn that we just enjoy putting money in the drain. But in those days, we're still acquiring customers and showing losing money. And over a 7 to 14 day timeline, we would sell those customers more things and we would become profitable in them. Maybe today we were not profitable, but over 7, 14 days, and especially when we look at 30-day windows, for the last 3 years, we've always been profitable to a certain degree. Like I said, we've had months where I was really bad, but because we have distribution now, we have multiple offers. So sometimes one of our offers that could be printing, for example, very good example here is May of 2024. In April 2024, our first offer was super successful. I was going through the numbers and we clocked in one of our biggest months then. And I think we did about $20,000 net profit. Guess what happened the following month in May? The offer completely tanked. Like from 20K to about 3K in profit. Most people would collapse then. But we were following the process. We were working on new products. And at the time we were working on a new product. And in May of 2024, we went live with the Quran Blueprints. And so although the Hissbook had very drastically declined, the first month of launching the Quran Blueprints, we did over 9K profit. Then month after month, that offer kept climbing to the point that within 3 months, that offer had replaced the revenue that the Hissbook was doing. And then the Hissbook stayed really quiet for a while. The Hissbook for the next few months didn't do too well for a 3 to 5K a month profit. For us, that's not great because we know where we had been with that offer. We were spending $1,000+ a day on ads, and at times we were doing 40, 50K months with that offer. Like it was crazy. And then we just saw it decline. And it obviously, even still, it hurt me. But cool, it's fine. We just have to keep following the process, trusting the process. And so we did. We launched the Quran Blueprints and replaced the revenue. That offer became it's on track to become a more successful offer. The reason I can't say it is because we've been running it for less time than we've been running the Hissbook. So obviously, over the time period of the Hissbook running, it's done more revenue. But based on trajectory, the Quran Blueprints now is on track to be a more successful offer. And that was like super magical for us to see that. Our business was declining, but we continued to trust the process. We continued creating and launching new products. And so we did it, and it replaced that revenue. And then the Hissbook revived again. And right now, what's so crazy, the Hissbook stayed down for a long time. Now we enter 2026. Since December, the Hissbook has been on an uprise, like it has been going up again. And so that product's active again. So is the Quran Blueprint, and so is many of our other products. So you start asking yourself, is this improving over 7 days? Is it stabilizing now over 14 days? This kind of thing we see over the 7 day. Are we seeing improvements over 14 days? Is the number stabilizing? And over 30 days, is it profitable? Just like I told you about our client we just reviewed, that over 30 days, he was profitable, 1.5x. Over 7 days, he had a fantastic improvement because over the last 7 days, he's at 1.95 ROAS. But over the last 30 days, he was at 1.53 ROAS, which means for every dollar he spent, he's made $1.50 on average on the last 30 days. But in the last 7 days, for every dollar he spent, he made $1.95 on average. So we see the improvement over 7 days. We saw the stabilization over the last 14 days, and we saw that ultimately over the last 30 days, he was profitable. The only thing we can think then is, let's increase that average order value. Let's add more offers to the process. Let's optimize the emails, and let's launch more ads. Let's start scaling it. So just look out for that, because this year, that's going to be a huge case study. We're going to be documenting inside here when you see like how we took this offer from scratch, from no idea. It's a completely faceless product. And we're about to build a wonderful business for this guy, inshallah. So short-term dips are normal. Trends over time are what matter. Keep that in mind. Let's look at some ad math. So we're running ads. Okay. This is the main thing we talk about. Now with Dan's new traffic module, you'll find there's other ways of getting customers. You're not 100% dependent on ads. If you watch my new YouTube video I just posted yesterday, over there, what I talk about is the fastest way to get 1,000 sales with low ticket products. And the fastest way to get there is paid ads, because we can launch an ads today and we can start getting sales tomorrow. We have control over it. And if we really want to quickly make a lot of money, ads, there's nothing that can beat ads, because you have control over it. If you see you're profitable, you can increase your ad spend. You can start acquiring more customers by the day. You can scale really fast. But you don't have that same control over doing social media. Even if you start publishing more content still needs time. It needs time for it to get views, to get traction, to get engagement, this kind of thing. It takes time. So social media is great, and it's a great thing to compound, and you do it, and over time you see the reward. But it's taken us like almost 3 years, like I said, in March of 3 years when we launched the Hifz book, and we created the Instagram page for that back then. And only recent times, like in the last 3-4 months, that page has really started getting a lot of traction. And so we're driving really good revenue from that Instagram page every day now. But there were things we didn't do. We weren't consistent with posting content there over the last few years. But only recent times, since we shared the whole Nano Banana AI post creation and like ad creation process with you guys, we started using that same process to create content on the page. And that page is really active. You guys can check it out. You go on the Instagram, you type in the Hifz book, you can see the kind of content we're posting there. And you'll notice that there's some of our posts that get over 100 comments asking for whatever thing we're offering. And so those 100 comments, we're messaging all those people, well, not me or Dan ourselves, but one of our team will message all those people, send them the link to the Hifz book. And out of 100 people, if 10, 20 people buy, that's like an extra $500+. So social media does pay. And if you compound and you consistently show up for it, it's great. But the fastest way to go about launching and scaling your business will always be paid advertising. There's no replacement for it. So let's keep it realistic. Let's say your product price, your average price $30 to $40, so your average sale about $35. Let's assume your cost per click, you're spending $1.50 to get a visitor to your website. Let's say for every 30 clicks, you get one sale, and your cost per sale is now $45 because 30 times 1.5, $45. And so on your first pass, when you've done this the initial time, you've actually lost money, right? We might have lost $10. We might have broken even. Is it bad? Is it good? Who knows? You're thinking, I don't know if this is good, but let me tell you, it's only my word against yours when I tell you that that's amazing. If you can run ads for the first time ever to strangers in this big bad world and selling something that was non-existent a few weeks back, and you can get a sale for it, even just getting one sale, that's huge. Most people won't see that because most people are so attached to the outcome and thinking they're like, but I need to make $10,000. And so you all realize how huge it is that you've even achieved that. But sure, you might break even, you might be slightly down. But over time, there's some things here I didn't even mention here. Pixel optimizers. I talk about here optimization, reduce costs over time. So your pixel optimizers, like your Meta Pixel, it begins to understand who your target market is. It starts showing it more to the right people. Your costs of traffic begin to either reduce or your conversion rate increases because when your offer is presented to the right people, more people are likely to buy. Over time, you implement retargeting. So retargeting ads are very simple. We're going to be recording that into our new curriculum, which is when somebody comes to your website, but they didn't buy, you can run an ad that goes straight to that person and reminds them that they were on your page, but they didn't buy. And retargeting traffic is a lot cheaper than sending out new cold traffic. Because, right, one, we were speaking to strangers, we don't know who's interested, but people that have come to our website are clearly interested, but they just couldn't justify the purchase at the time. But we retarget those, the cost of acquiring that customer becomes a lot lower. We start to do email follow-ups. We have our email sequences, we do email broadcasts, and we sell more products and we increase our revenue from there. We maybe increase the price of products in the funnel. So here we talk about optimizing the funnel. And what's that? Split test pricing, add new products. So I documented inside the Discord recently, we had a product we launched very recently, and we launched it at $27. And for 2 days we were running it and we had no sales, but we were spending a bit more than most people spend. So we can get data much faster. So we were spending about, I think, $60 a day initially. And then we thought, okay, it's clearly that we've got a lot of traffic. We didn't get any buyers. Something might be off. We reduced the price of that product to $5. And the following day, we had a $200 day. Instantly, the product was profitable. And now we're really ramping it up. Actually, by the end of this call, I might open up the stats there and show you, like, we've already generated a few $1,000s through that product profitably. And we actually reduced the price. Like, people would think, why would you reduce the price? Like, how are you going to make more money reducing the price? Someone asked me in the Discord the other day, actually, if I reduce my price, won't it devalue my product? That's what the question was. But that's not true. It doesn't devalue your product. Your goal on the front end is just to get people through the door, right? Your upsells, your bump offers, they will add the value to it. And the purpose of the low ticket is to be low ticket, make it accessible. This person doesn't trust you yet. They don't know you. So our goal is to just give them value up front so we can get $5 from them and give them a great product. And they're like, whoa, this is a great product. And we've already got a few emails, people telling us this is really worth the investment. I mean, it's only $5, right? And they buy it and they're like, whoa, this is really great. I just spent $5. I got all of this stuff. And actually, I need to look at the numbers, but our average order value is definitely not $5. It's a lot more because people are buying our bulk offers and they're buying the upsells. That's huge. So optimization will reduce your costs over time. So what in day one, what in week one is not the reality, just as I told you about our client here. In week one, I don't know, he was probably at a loss. And then week 2, 3, by the averages worked out, it was like 1.5x. And then week 4, he was at 1.95. So over time, the cost reduced, conversion rate increases, the ad networks are able to better target the right customer. And it all starts to make sense. The first few days will never show the full picture. It'll never make complete sense just yet. You have to see it through. The average over time is what does make sense. And that's why we tell you to launch with $10 a day ads. Because $10 a day, I know for the most part, if you manage to find your way into this program, you can probably afford to risk $10 a day. That's just $300 in a month. And so you can see it through. But if I told you all, launch at $100 a day, you might not be able to see it through for 7, 14, and 30 days. But that's quite a lot of money. For a lot of people, that's a full-time salary. And so we don't do that ourselves. We don't usually, unless we have a really high lifetime value where we know this customer is worth a few $1,000s to us, we won't go and launch at such high budgets. We will also launch at $10 a day. The Hips books launched at $10 a day. Quran Blueprints launched at $10 a day. The Seerah Blueprints launched at $10 a day. All of our products that don't have a high lifetime value, we're not selling something high ticket in the back of premium test offer. We launch them at $10 a day. So when we talk about faceless offers, we also launch at low budgets because nobody needs that anxiety, constantly refreshing your screen. Is it working? Worrying, am I losing too much money today? No, but $10 a day is fine because day 1, day 2, day 3, you cannot make any money. But day 4, day 5, you make some money and all of a sudden you're profitable and it all makes sense. And it gives the algorithm time to optimize. It gives you time to understand what's actually happening, to be able to read the data, to understand it, to digest it. Because for most of you, if it's your first time doing it, there's a learning curve involved. And the last thing you want to do is go straight into the deep end. You're yet to understand how this all works, how paid ads work, and you're risking all your money. Like, you don't want to be doing that. You give yourself time, give yourself some breathing room. So you start at $10 a day. You can understand what's happening, obtain that data, digest it, and then slowly begin your way. We talk about incrementally scaling. We never, in our own business, and nor do we tell anybody to go from $10 to $100 a day. I know some of our clients, they spending $10 a day, they're profitable. They're saying, I want to scale now. That's what they say. And they say, I want to start spending $100 a day. And it's like, you can't do that because what will happen is you'll go from $10. We've observed it many times. You'll go from 10 and you'll try to spend 100 and your numbers will tank. And so that's why we incrementally scale. It's a strategic thing, but it's also good for your mental state rather than going from not risking anything to taking these massive risks. It's not a good approach. As though offers work the same way, i.e. your product. Your first version of an offer is really the best version. When we launched the Hips book, and you'll see it in the video I recorded recently on YouTube, we documented that when we launched that product, it was a 26-page Google document, just like what you're looking at right now. This is a Google Doc. And we just had a 26-page Google Doc, and we launched with that product. We got our first 1,000 sales with a 26-page Google Doc. And then we began to refine it. Today, it's a 265-page ebook. It's available in print and digital. It's got a clean cover. It's got all the formatting, got the table of contents. But when we launched it, it didn't have any of that. Because the goal of launching is get it out there, validate it, see do people even want it. People are so busy designing their books and creating great covers and logos and all this formatting. So sure, it needs to be readable. It needs to be understandable. The content should be clear. Hey, it doesn't need to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. You can only perfect something after you start getting data, after the market tells you what it really wants. So when people started coming through our product, the first 1,000 people, they start telling us, oh, I can't find this. Oh, it would be good if you had a chapter on this. Oh, like, how can you help us with this? So they're asking us questions. We took all of that information and we just expanded the book and added more chapters covering all these different things. So if you build one offer, launch it once, you decide it failed, you haven't tested the offer. You've only tested one moment in time. So offers improve through relaunching, making small tweaks, might be some visual tweaks, might be some copy tweaks. better positioning the product. Who is it actually for? What problem does it solve? And a better traffic alignment, launching new ads, writing new copy. And you do this, you see it through, you follow the process, and success usually shows up. If you're doing it for the first time, how can you safely assume that your first attempt is your best attempt? Because right now you're in your head and you want to get the product out there and you just want to launch it. And so, of course, you're not going to consider everything. But as you start to get data and you see your clarity data, people are coming to your website, you can see what's happening, where they're dropping off, and we make improvements against this stuff. We make iterations, we change the headline, we change some colors, we add some images. We maybe change the price as we did. We go from $27 to $4.95. Or we make these few little changes. Boom, all of a sudden we see that this thing actually does work. Okay, the results do show up. That repetition is what creates clarity. Clarity does not come from thinking more, planning more. It comes from doing the same thing enough times to see the patterns. We've now launched, I don't know, I've lost count of how many offers we've launched. But we've launched one too many offers we scrapped, offers we scaled, offers we've sold to people, offers we built for our clients. Like how many offers we built, I don't know. But I would assume, at least safely assume in the last 3 years, we've launched at least 30 offers, like minimum. And the amount of offers we've consulted on, that's tens of offers. If you saw the previous version, it was something else and we redesigned it and we rewrote this copy and now this product's working. It's still not perfect. I look at this, I can see so many different improvements we could make to this page. It's not there yet, but it's working now at least. Hey, we made some iterations, we made some changes, and the product's working now. So each attempt at something, building the product, creating that product, launching it, new ads, it gives you better understanding. Your messaging starts to refine. Your expectations start to improve. Because right now, especially when you start something new, your expectations are like, oh, and then your expectations settle and you realize, okay, this is how really it works. This is what I should expect. Now it's possible that you can do 2x, 5x ROAS on your ad spend. You can spend $1, you can make $5 possible, you can make tens of thousands of dollars, but you need to set your expectations against what you're willing to do, how you're showing up, the risk you're willing to take, how consistent you're willing to be. And your expectations need to be aligned with that. You can't set your expectations based on what someone else is doing, what we're doing. Because we don't expect that from you either. Because we're doing this full time. We've been doing this full time for a very long time. And you have a lot of things going on, and you've got families to maintain, you've got full-time jobs to attend. So you can't expect that you operate the same timeline and you operate with the same level of clarity. But in your case, you just need to think, okay, I just need to consistently follow the process, show up for it, and however long it takes you, that's entirely up to you. But if you follow it and you trust it, you always see the payoff. You always see and experience the reward. And so averages only form when there is enough volume to measure, volume of inputs, volume of effort, volume of repetitions. When you put in enough, you will start to see averages and you'll start to realize, like me and Dan, we formed averages about things like what markets work, what type of offers work best. These are the kind of things we've learned, and this is what we share with you guys. As we tell you, okay, don't do your product like this. Don't go and create a video course for your front end. It'll take you too much time. We say go launch your front end product without your upsell so you can get it out. There's things we've begun to understand, observations we've made, but only by putting in the repetition, only by seeing what was holding us back, what didn't work for us. And now we can tell you what you shouldn't do. And then comes emotional stability, success in business, success in life, and in practically any domain. Is, I would say, that 80% mindset, is 80% emotions, mental state, and just 20% is action. And so that emotional stability, once again, comes from zooming out. When you focus on the daily outcomes, small losses will feel big. The randomness in your business and even in life will feel personal. And your confidence will fluctuate constantly. Some days you'll feel on top of the world. I'm going to crush it. Hey, we've been there. We've launched some offers and we've expected the world from them. But we've been so profitable right out the gate. We were like, yeah, going forward, we're going to be printing. And then certain things happen. God, all kinds of things happen. And your confidence then fluctuates. You're up and down. And then you start to think, oh, no, the other day I was feeling on top of the world. We were about to become millionaires. And now it's, we're back to zero. But you're not back to zero. Because when you zoom out and you look at the averages, it's all good. So when you focus on the averages, the variance will feel normal. Decisions will feel easier to make. They'll feel calmer and your progress becomes visible. A lot of you are so close to the canvas. You've not taken a moment to zoom out and to see where you started and what you've now achieved, what you now understand, the knowledge you've now obtained, and how you see business differently. Like just understanding simple things like average order value, customer acquisition cost, lifetime value, like just understanding this knowledge is key. It's like business 101. And to have obtained that, to understand it, to now know what it takes to be successful running a digital product business, that's great progress. You should give yourself a pat on the back. So even in your own journey, no matter whether you launch a product or not, you should take a moment often and reflect where you started and where you are. So the system doesn't change, and it hasn't. It's just the lens, how you're looking at it, where you're looking at it from. So the right question to ask, and I went over this earlier, is not, is this working right now? But if I run this process consistently, does the math work over time? And if it does, then you stay consistent. You keep showing up for it. And if not, you adjust the inputs. You adjust the effort you're putting in, where you're dedicating your time, your energy. But either way, as I always say, decisions are made from data, not from emotions or assumptions. That's why one of my keys I say in product development, I say never become emotionally attached to the product, because the product may truly break your heart. You go and launch that thing and it does the complete opposite of what you expected. But that's fine. This is normal. We were only assuming it's a great product. We were only assuming that people would want it. Maybe we did our market research, we validated the demand, but it was still an assumption that when I launch it, I'm going to make a lot of money. Right? And so you need to let the data decide that. And that's why we say go launch your offers as fast as possible. We say don't spend too much time on the drawing board. Just get the offer out there. Don't create the upsells yet. Just go and launch it, validate it, risk maybe $50, $100 in ad spend, see if that thing works, see if people want it. We can refine the stuff after. That's the fastest way to get things out there. Like when I documented the 30-minute date night chef product recently, and maybe you've seen the video I posted on YouTube about it. It took me 5.5 hours to do the whole thing from start to finish. Entire thing, from researching, not having an idea, to doing the research, to creating the product, to creating the funnel, to creating the ads, and to launching it. It took 5.5 hours. Imagine you operate like that. You've done that for the whole month, and every day or every week even, you blocked out 6-7 hours and you launched the product. In a month, you launch 4. In 3 months, you launch 12. I guarantee I put my absolute everything on it that you would land yourself a winner. And you would say, this is the best thing I ever learned, the best decision I ever made. And speed is key. Speed is very important. And also becoming emotionally detached from the outcome and completely attached to the process. And so why does this matter for faceless offers? Because faceless offers are built on systems. They're not built on our personal brand. They're not built on ourselves. They're not built on the consistency of us posting content or taking phone calls. They're built on systems, clear systems. We've outlined them for you. The volume of ads and volume of inputs, essentially. Working on your copy, working on the funnel, running the ads, optimizing them, testing new offers, creating new products, sending out emails, sending out more emails. That type of volume. Iteration, making changes as you go along based on the data. And long-term thinking. You're here to build a business over time that stays with you for years to come, a business that you can generate an income from, and a business that if you wanted to, you could even sell. So you have to think long-term. Think about what you're actually building here. And bases often reward people who stay consistent. They track the trends and they improve over time. They do not reward impatience or constant resets. And most people don't lose because the system is broken. They lose because they stop before the averages have time to form. I've seen this picture time and time again, where it shows like two dudes and it's just an animated picture and they're digging and they're digging. And the dude is like 2 digs away from the gold. And he turns around. And one guy just, boom, all it would have taken is 1-2 more digs and you would have been at the gold. So you have to just keep showing up, trust the process. We've proven the process. That's the best thing. People lack the belief. We shouldn't lack the belief. You saw us, and not just about us doing it. You saw people that have come in that have done this for the first time, and they also got results. So you can see that the averages do form if you consistently show up for it. And when you give your efforts enough time, enough data, and enough repetition, the picture becomes clear.